you can answer this as a movement pattern thing, and I can answer this as a muscle.
Movement centric versus muscle.
Yeah. So how often should I train? You can have squat, bench, deadlift each week, and then it says how often should I train each muscle group.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when I wrote our strength programming module, I went days and days and days down rabbit holes around frequency.
Yep.
And there is basically no data on any of it.
Yeah. Not surprised at all.
So anything that anyone says, at least in a strength centric, I don't know if it's different from muscle centric, is probably their own personal bias. Maybe they've heard it from someone else, or it's just what works for them.
Yeah.
So we've had bants on the podcast about like bro versus like more higher frequency. I lean into high frequency for most of my girls. It seems to work really well.
Yeah.
My argument is the concept that if you did 2 squat exercises on Monday and 2 of them on Thursday, your total tonnage would be higher than if you did 4 on Monday.
Yep.
So that's what I measure from a strength outputs. That's my gold star.
Would you say the stronger someone gets, the less frequent they would train?
No, they would train the movement patterns just as frequently, but they would introduce more load limiting factors.
Okay, let me rephrase that question. Would you say that the prime pursuit of strength, the frequency would lower, and you would use other strategies to... So, like, I'm not doing a heavy deadlift. If I'm super strong, sometimes you wouldn't do that even once a week.
Yes, yeah.
You
so
know what I mean? Sorry.
The frequency of high intensity work, but not the movement.
Correct.
So you would a beginner can probably deadlift twice a week.
Yeah.
Because it's advantageous to learning the skill, play the guitar more. But once you reached novice stage, not even intermediate, that second one's probably going to an RDL.
Yeah. Yeah, so that, I get it.
As you progress, it's like,
Yeah. And then super strong people probably still hinge.
Yeah. They're just using load limiting strategies. Yeah.
It's not deadlifting.
Yeah, so even then, like those super strong people, it's like your deadlift's not heavy every week. Yeah. It's your deadlift's heavy every third week, and your accessory kind of is still load limited.
It's still feeding that, yeah.
Yeah, so the model we use in the programming design is based on how fatiguing a movement pattern is.
Yeah.
So squat and back exercises seem to be pretty similar because you've got an actual loading component, and you've got, for back, you've added a grip component where you take away load.
Yeah.
So you squat heavier and you have actual loading. A lot of back work has actual loading or grip. Yeah. So they kind of both tax the nervous system from a recovery standpoint. So they're kind of similar.
Yeah.
So I like those around twice a week.
Yeah.
Heavy hinging once, maybe twice.
Yeah.
But the second one's definitely load limited. So coming into comp, I'm happy for my guys to squat heavy twice a week.
Yeah.
But they never deadlift twice.
Yeah.
Heavy.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. And then bench press seems to be 3 times a week. High skill demand, low load, no actual loading, external stability.
Yeah. Short range of motion.
Fatigue element is much lower of that exercise than anything else. Obviously loading structure a little bit more as well, so it's not as taxing. So yeah, I like one of the girls that I just had compete. I think she was only benching heavy once a week with one accessory, and we went to benching twice with another day of accessories, so 3 times a week. So I think she put like 7 kilos on her bench in 8 weeks.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, it loves frequency.
Yeah.
It just loves it.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah, muscle building is more predicated on total training volume. So you go with that idea of just like quality. So I think once the training volume exceeds, 10 sets a session or something, you'd probably spread that over the other workouts just to ensure that the quality is high, the performance is high. So yeah, but the total training volume still kind of...
Yeah, it's like your 11th set of quads on the day is going to be shit, so put it somewhere else.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So like lower body's the easiest way to explain it for like most female lifters. Like they obviously want a stronger lower body. So you're just scattering that across the week rather than doing like one massive kind of leg day.
Yeah.
You do maybe a little bit of quad, a little bit of ham, a little bit of glute, and kind of do that again later in the week.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's the easiest way. There's no real like optimal frequency. I think like training twice a week might be advantageous if you don't train like really close to failure with like heavy loads.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think the more trained you are, you can get away with training once a week, especially if you like, can train hard and kind of get that density. And if that's what you prefer, then once a week's fine, because you have the perfect examples in the biggest humans on the world on the planet who do it. Yeah, they only train once a week, so I think that there's still merit to it.
Do you think frequency goes up or down with assisted athletes?
I think it still leans into you know what I personally think about when it comes to bodybuilding. I think leaning into what the person likes to do is going to get better results than anything.
I agree.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Yeah, because it's like, if you just look at it, things across the last 40 years, even as long as we've been alive to pay attention. Yeah. So the last 20 years, there's so many different ways to train, but they're all big. Yeah. Like you take the top 10 in the world, right? And people can sit here and go, oh, they're stupid, they're this. It's like, mate, they're fucking huge. So, like, come on. Take your lab coat off and just fucking, bow your head and just say, right, they're doing something.
Yeah, walk up the stairs of your mum's basement.
So, there's surely, like, some of them do high volume, some do low volume, some do, some have a program, some don't. Like, I think that if you just work hard, lift to close to failure and do that enough, you
wag me.
Yeah.
We're all gonna make it.
And you got good technique.
Yeah.
There's a lot more to it, obviously, and they're obviously the genetic elite. So sometimes it is a little must be nice situation, like to just look at a weight.
Success does leave clues, though.
Yeah.
In experimenting, it's like you don't have to train like Ronnie and Branch. No. You could train like Phil. Yeah. And if you really like it and you respond, and I think that's the only challenge is like, what do you respond well to? Yeah. I'm really curious at the moment playing with this higher rep stuff because I fucking hate it. Like I do not enjoy a set of 15 at all. Like I sit down, I look at the load, I feel the first 10 reps. I'm like, this is the dumbest. I hate this. Yeah. But I'm just
sure
like,
your joints feel good though.
Well, yeah. My shoulder doesn't hurt. Oh my God. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, I've trained myself to like low reps, higher intensity because I powerlifted for 6 years. Yeah. Does my body respond to higher rep training? Yeah. It responds, like you said, 100% in terms of how I feel. Yeah. Like physically, that wave loading block that I did, I was smashed in like 8 weeks because I didn't progress my load properly. Yeah.
Pre-shoulder bursitis.
But yeah, like I do feel really good, but I just wonder from a hypertrophy standpoint or from a physique standpoint, am I, because I don't like it, because it's, you know what I mean? Like,
I get it.
We were talking about wraps yesterday, and like, I know you get to a part of a set and you start to feel the pump and the burn and that effect, and you're like, yes, like hurt me more. I like this feeling. Yeah. And then we were talking about like the knee wraps. Yeah. And you were like, it is the most disgusting thing ever. I would never do that to myself. And I remember when you're putting them on and stepping under the bar, I'm just like, this is fucking the best.
Yeah, but that's because that's serving the target outcome.
Yeah, it is. But I don't know.
So that's why it's the same. It's the same. When you get the burn and the feeling, you're like, that's serving the target outcome.
Agreed.
So you're like, this is where I need to be.
Yeah, I like the feeling of this load could kill me. Versus like,
it's a lot of fun
burns
lifting.
A lot.
It's a lot of fun. It leans into the ego part of lifting. Yeah. Like weight training and stuff. It's kind of fun to move a fair bit of weight and be strong. Yeah. But you got to get the balance right. Yeah. Yeah. And I think like you want to lean more into frequency as if you're specializing to bring up a muscle group, only because generally like once you go over the technique and the execution, generally you would increase the training volume. Mm-hmm. But that's only once you've ironed out the
And I would say from a strength standpoint, particularly for a competitor or someone who's at least going to test, or the metric of those prime lifts going up is important. There's a huge skill element to that. Yeah. So doing it more frequently is better. You
Absolutely.
can progress faster.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, it's interesting though.